Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Vice Chair Barr, for more than a year now, financial news has focused on Fed raising rates. There isn't a person in the financial services sector of the country that hasn't heard about it on a seemingly everyday basis since the beginning of 2022. Well, it has been the fastest rate increase in our country's history, which I believe is probably too fast. Chairman Powell has made his intentions very clear. No banks should have been caught off guard by rate increases. In fact, the Federal Reserve is in the same position themselves. Mr. Powell was here a couple weeks ago and acknowledged that his bond holdings have got them, and the interest rate situation that they have is actually losing money as a result of this himself. So it's even more surprising that a $100 billion bank's not considering the effect of rate increases is, in fact, according to your testimony, the Fed staff hasn't presented to the Board of Governors with its impacts on rising rates until mid-2023, February of 2023, just last month. So are you telling me that every time the Fed raises rates or drops rates, there is no economic analysis done on the impact on our economy?
Mr. Luetkemer, I was referencing that particular meeting because the staff...
No, that's not my question. My question is, does the Fed, before it raises rates or lowers rates, does it have an economic study done by its economists? They've got a team of economists there. Do you have an economic analysis done of the impact of that? Mr. Gabarino, would you please move to your right, please? Thank you.
Yes, we evaluate all the economic conditions.
Do you get a report from your economists
that the Fed, making any interest rate decision?
Does the Fed board get a report from their economists saying what the impact of their rates will be on the economy? Yes or no?
Yes, we get staff forecasts that forecast the expected impact on the economy of rate decisions.
Okay, how come you made a specific mention of this in your February report then? Why did you specify that you got the rate?
That's what I was trying to explain earlier. I mentioned that because the report specifically called out Silicon Valley Bank. We regularly discuss interest rate problems. Interest rate risk is an important part of supervision and a bread and butter issue.
Okay, a bank this size, normally you'll have an examiner or two or a team that is in there on a daily basis. Was there an examiner or team of examiners in Silicon Valley Bank on a daily basis?
The team consisted of about 20 full-time equivalent staff at the San Francisco Federal Reserve Bank.
They were not in Silicon Valley then?
I don't know precisely the extent of their in-person meetings versus their remote analytic work.
Okay, that's another problem that we have to talk about, having all this work off-site whenever they need to be on-site, being able to have access to the daily data. But as a result of this, and I'll follow up on some of the questions that have been asked before, but ask them in a little bit different way. You knew that we had an interest rate risk problem and a liquidity problem. You acknowledged it all the way through from 2021. It's been established this morning. You have examiners in the bank are watching it on a daily basis. And you know that you've had some reports that say we need to take some action. Why was no action requested or not forced on the bank?
There was action requested of the bank in the matters requiring attention and matters requiring immediate attention.
Why were they not enforced?
I think that's a question for our review. We don't know. I don't yet know the answer. Could the staff have escalated more? Should they more? What were the interactions with the bank? That's all part of the supervisory record that will be in the May 1st report.
Well, that begs the question then, Mr. Barr. If you think you need more rules and you're not even enforcing the existing ones, why do you need more rules? I don't think we need to look at more rules until we figure out which rules were not being enforced, what messages were not being delivered to the bank to be able to do your job. At that point, then we can take a look and see what we need to do something else. But for you to make the statement, we need more rules and regulations, how about enforcing the existing ones first?
We're going to be looking, as I said, at our own supervision under the existing framework, ways in which existing rules
very quickly, I've got one more quick question for you here. This situation points out a very unique situation because of the new social media, the world of instantaneously being able to do some things. I have grave concerns because within a less than a 2-day period, $42 billion rolled off the books here, basically as a result of a Twitter little informational thing. It begs the question down the road here, Mr. Barr, it opens up the possibility whenever you have a bunch of significantly distressed banks that there could be a short sale on some of these things that could be out there. We need to be talking about that. Are you thinking about that at all yet?
Yes, I think you're raising absolutely important and critical questions about the role of social media, the role of networks, depositors with each other, and the
And
potential.
you're working on a real-time payment system that's going to be
Gentlemen's-
ripe for a problem like this with Twitter if we don't
Gentleman's
fix it
time's
beforehand.
expired. You can
Thank you, Mr.
answer for the
Chairman.
record.